when you go deep into debt, there's a monkey on your back, and then you start acting out of character. And when you're acting out of character, then you have the tendency to lose the things that are most important to you. So stay out of debt. You see, I heard this one time from a business mentor. I was working with her, and she said, the one who has the money has the control. And at the time, I was so passionate, I'm doing air quotes, about what I was doing. I was like, well, why does that even mean anything? And I was so mad, and it came in an aggressive tone, and I thought, man, this is only focused on money. Why is everything just focused on money? It's got to be about passion and from your heart and all the things. And then later on, I started to realize why she said what she did. What she was trying to get across to me was that if you're smart with your money, if you're smart with your time, if you're smart with your energy, and you don't go into debt, then you won't be controlled by something else. See, I thought it was only about money at the time, but I realize now that personally, professionally, spiritually, and financially, a lot of times we get into debt. And when we get into debt personally or professionally or spiritually, or even financially, that monkey on our back becomes so heavy, and we have to feed the monkey before we can even feed ourselves. And sometimes we're willing to do things that are so out of character just to be able to perform that act. So today, as I sat with my alone time with God, he really opened up to me in Proverbs 6 why it's so important to stay out of debt. And then on a side note, the craziest thing is as I was thinking about that, and I wrote it down, and I wrote down, what was on my heart with that, what it made me think about, and what action could I add to it today. I just need to stay out of debt personally, professionally, spiritually, and financially. And then I realized, as I'm sitting and I'm in that, then I realized, oh, wow, there's a bill that I have to pay that's on this specific day that I had to do it. And it's amazing because 3,000 years ago, God knew that I was going to be dealing with that particular thing on this day, and that's how big God is. So another little God moment for you, but this is another episode of Inchstones where we take 3,000-year-old wisdom and see how it can apply to today. So why don't we get this party started?
Nothing more on my mind. I got two shines, so every day I grind. Work in the morning, work in the evening. We's achieving, cause we believing. It's for certain, we put the work in. We ain't stopped just because it's hurting. Right before your eyes, so it's coming to no surprise. The takeover is televised. Over and over and over again. Make no mistake, we continue to win. Defeat never known, cause I will not lose. They wanna mimic my moves, but can't walk in my shoes.
I was just going over my notes in Proverbs 6, and this one blew my mind because, again, 3,000 years ago, God's into the details. He's always been into the details. That's what my mom used to always say to me. Let God work. He's in the details. She would tell me, don't worry. And I was like, yeah, it sounds easy for you because you're a mom. But as a kid, I got all these things that are like the biggest things in the world right now. Now I look back on them as an older gentleman, and I think, wow, I guess they weren't that big a deal. And I guess maybe I didn't need to worry about that particular thing. And in Proverbs 6, as I read that, it calls out and pleads to us to stay out of debt, and if we are in it, to give all our efforts to free ourselves from the debt. It also gives us a blueprint on how to get out of it and then stay out of it. So it doesn't mean that, if you're in debt right now that things are over. It just that's the cool thing about God is he knows where we're at. He knows exactly where we're at. He built us. He prepared us for this time, and he just wants to spend time with him. And when we spend time with him, like I did the other day and this morning, when I spent time with him this morning and I read this 3,000 years ago, he knew what I was going to be going through today. There's no way that is a coincidence. There's absolutely no way. And it was all about debt, all those things. And then I get into the shower. I'm just, I'm going over my the thoughts and the time that I had with God. And I realized, oh, wow, this is the day that I need to pay that bill. And what was it? It was the exact day, like boom. And so the whole message was stay out of debt. And I tell you, like, God is good. He's big. He's here. But he's in the details too. And so I just want to encourage you with that. This is the first time tuning in. My name is Kelly Cardenas. Welcome to the show. I appreciate you. I want you to like, subscribe, do all the things that you know you need to do, and also share it with a friend. This is soul food for your walk in the morning. It's an episode called Inchstones, where I take 3,000-year-old wisdom and see how it can apply to today. And the reason why I took 3,000-year-old wisdom is because it's something that's tried and tested. There's fads. There's things that we think about, or things that are hot that are trending right now, that in 3 years aren't going to be trending, in a month, in 6 months. And in today's time, it's like a week and it's not going to be trending anymore. And so I didn't want to do hot topics like that. What I wanted to do is something that lasted the test of time, and it's principle-based wisdom, right? And so not from a religious standpoint, not from a ritual standpoint, but from a relationship standpoint, just spending time with God, asking him what I should do today, and then he'll help out in that area. He'll tell us to do the right thing at the right time for the right reasons, that the right things will turn out. And that's all based in the wisdom cycle, which is first fearing God or respecting him, spending time with him. He'll give us wisdom, which is the right use of knowledge. Then that knowledge will give way to understanding, insight, discretion, discernment, discipline, strength, and it'll lead us right back to the fear or respect of God, which mean that we have to spend time with him. All these things are in the book, the Inchstones, and the corresponding proverb for the corresponding day is in there too. So let's hop right into Proverbs 6, because I talked about that a little bit too long. And so here are my notes I wanted to share with you is the first one in verse 1 through 5 is just stay out of debt. And if you're in it, apply grace. This is the biggest one. Apply grace to yourself, and then turn all of your efforts to free yourself from it. My partner, Julie, years ago, what she's told me is, she said, debt is very simple. And this is the way you do it. She said, take all the things that you owe, all the credit cards, everything like that. And she said, pick out the one that you owe the least on, and then pay every ounce of money that you can towards that little one, and pay the minimums on everything else. And then once you get that one paid off, then move on to the second biggest one. And then do that until you're completely out of debt. And then when you get out of debt, then start saving money and, start putting it away, start investing it, have it work for you, and be in a place where you're free just to be yourself. Because when you're in debt, this is what she told me in not so many words. When you're in debt, someone else is in control, and you don't want someone else to be in control of you. And so I wish that I would have applied that as a very young kid. I thought that if I got into debt, I could just work my way out of it. As far as like, I'll just go buy what I want, and then I'll just figure out how to make it later. That's a tough way to live. And I lived like that for a long, long period of time. And so in verse 1 through 5, it reiterates, and I just want to state this again: stay out of debt. And if you're in it, apply a ton of grace to yourself. And what is grace? It's unwarranted favor. Just love, forgive yourself. Be okay. It's okay if you're in debt. But then turn all your efforts, anything that's not, if you're in debt, if there's anything that you're doing that's energy towards anything else besides getting out of debt, turn it off for a little bit, focus in on getting out of debt, and then feel how free you'll be. It's amazing what can happen. In verse 6 through 8 is, Inchstones will get you out and keep you out of debt. Study the ants. And in this, in verse 6 through 8 is, if you study the ants, none of them are super mighty, but all of them together, they can create a lot. They can carry a lot of weight. If you study ants, the culture of ants, it's amazing how much they can do, how much weight they can bear, how many things, they can move larger objects, but they all work together, and it's little tiny bit by little tiny bit. It's just inchstones. Inchstones will get you out of debt. Inchstones will keep you out of debt. And also on the flip side of it, negative inchstones, negative little tiny things will get you into debt. So it's the little things that got you in, it'll be the little things that get you out, and it'll be the little things that keep you out of it. So just study the ants. In verse 9 through 11, trade laziness for diligence. Laziness is just not doing right work. Diligence is doing right work, right? So the laziness is actually just the absence of right work. So someone said to me the other day, there's no such thing as, what was it? Dark, like they argued that darkness wasn't a thing. Darkness is just the absence of light. So when there is light, there's no darkness. And I had to sit in that for a second, but think of this. Laziness is not a thing. It's just the absence of a thing. Laziness is the absence of diligence. Diligence is just right work. How do we know what's right? We spend time with God. When we spend time with God, he'll tell us the right thing to do at that moment, not from a religious standpoint, not from a ritual standpoint, but from a relationship standpoint. This is the best thing. If you're in a relationship right now, you understand that you have to be connected and communicating. If you are married and you only spend time with your wife once a month and you guys only talk once a month, that ain't gonna last too long. You might think that, oh, well, I did this for her in February. It's the exact same thing. And she's the same person. In May, I should do the exact same thing. I could tell you, you're getting some challenges there. In the same way, if we think that we just get into a routine and we just only do the routine, we have to have a relationship in every aspect of life as we go. It doesn't mean we don't have structure. It doesn't mean we don't have systems, but have a relationship with them, because your systems are nothing more than a list of your screw-ups anyway. So trade laziness for diligence. Diligence is doing right work. Laziness is the absence of it. In verse 12 through 15 is do the right thing, be good to people, and do right business. To be able to get out of debt, if you do the right thing, you'll find yourself starting to get out of debt. If you're good to people, you're going to avoid debt. And if you do right business, I guarantee you, like, if you do right business, there'll be a flow, but then you have to also know what to do with it when you get it. And so when I'm talking about debt, it's not just about the financial side. And I want us to understand, like, sometimes we're in relational debt. Sometimes we're in personal debt. Sometimes we're in, time debt with people. And what God wants us to do is he wants us to be able to walk free in that. In verse 16 through 19 is focus, be truthful, be kind, use discretion, slow down, and exhibit honor. And when we look at those things, focus on being truthful. Be truthful with yourself. If you're in debt, it's most likely because you bought some stuff that you didn't have the ability to be able to pay for, or you extended yourself personally to a place you didn't have the energy to be able to give at the time. So be truthful, be kind, which is contributing to every single environment around you, and then exhibit discretion. Can you do it? Yeah, you can. Should you? That's a different question. And then take the time, slow down, just slow down, and exhibit the type of honor. Honor yourself, honor the relationships that you have, honor the people that are around you and the friendships around you. And honestly, stay as clear out of debt as humanly possible. And as we finish up, is verse 20 through 23 is fill yourself up with wisdom and honor your parents. And some people, I had a guy in my men's group one time say, well, you say honor your parents, and my parents weren't the greatest people. And I said, all of us had the perfect parents. And he came up against me in it. And what I was saying is, I'm not saying that your parents are perfect. They were perfect for you. Sometimes our parents dealt with challenges and they were imperfect in our eyes. And they caused us to be strong in an area because God knew that there was going to be challenges in that area and we're going to need to be strong in it. And so in that sense, all of us have the perfect parents. All of us were issued the perfect parents, but it's all in the way that we look at it. And so we want to honor them. We want to honor them in learning from their mistakes, learning from their successes, and realizing that your parents, when you were born perfect, absolutely perfect, no flaw at all, in the image of God. And God wanted you to be able to be free to be that person. And I can tell you, one of the major reasons why people step out of their character is because of the monkey that's on their back, which is called debt, whether it be personally, professionally, spiritually, or financially. And so where we started is where we'll end today. And I want to encourage every one of you that if you are in debt, go and take every ounce of energy to get yourself out of debt. If it's in a relationship, get yourself out of debt. If you feel like, oh, wow, I owe this person this because they spent so much time, go spend some time with them. Go thank them, but free yourself from that debt. Free yourself from every single debt, because just like my partner said years ago, the one who has the money has the control. But then think about it. In every aspect of life, that part rings true. And it can be challenging. And what it does is just draws us out of our own character. And when you're not yourself, then you're not performing at the level that you're designed to. You're the greatest, and you need to act according to that greatness. But to be able to do that, you have to be free. And to be free, you have to stay out of debt. So I hope you had a phenomenal day today. Check out Proverbs 6. Come and see us at the Vibe Room on November 5th. I absolutely love you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you drop a comment too. Let me know your thoughts on Proverbs 6. Maybe you translated it a little bit different. This is my translation to it. So what I got, spending time with God this morning. But that's the cool thing about the word, is it's going to speak to you in a different way, and we want the word to come alive. Pick up the book, Inchstones, The Vibe Within, too, and you could go through and do the corresponding proverb, corresponding day, and then send a comment. This is what I got. This is the verse that stuck out in my heart. This is the one that made me think about, and this is the action I'm going to add to today. I want to hear your comments, and then I'll share them here on the podcast. I hope you have a phenomenal day. My name is Kelly Cardenas, and I'm officially off the hot seat. Peace, love, and soul.
Achieving, cause we believing it's for certain. We put the work in. We ain't stopped just because it's hurting right before your eyes. So it's coming to no surprise. The takeover is televised over and over and over again. Make